exits the chicane and wins the Japanese Grand Prix.
Michael Schumacher gets his 7th Formula One World Championship.
What a great champion! What a great sporting spectacle! What joy! What release!
Sebastian Vettel, you are the world champion!
Lewis Hamilton wins the Turkish Grand Prix and is a 7-time champion of the world!
Finally, the wait is over, and we are back for the 2025 Formula One season, and we find ourselves once again asking whose year is it? And after 4 consecutive titles for Max Verstappen, are we about to see a new champion? With a highly competitive grid containing 7-time world champion Lewis Hamilton, 2-time world champion Fernando Alonso, and rising star Oscar Piastri, we could be in for a real treat. There are 4 main contenders that I believe have the best chance of being crowned the next world champion. And the contenders are current world champion Max Verstappen, Mercedes' George Russell, Ferrari's Charles Leclerc, and last year's championship's runner-up Lando Norris. So let's start with the current driver's world champion, who is going into this year looking to claim his 5th consecutive title. Last year looked to be business as usual for the Red Bull driver for the first half of the season, as Max looked as strong as ever. But as the season went on, the other teams caught up, with McLaren in particular launching a real challenge. Max is a driver that can get more out of a car than the car is capable of, and this might be a deciding factor this year, as the early indications suggest the car doesn't seem to be as dominant as previous years. You can never rule Verstappen out, but if Max did win the title this year, it would quite possibly be the best one yet. But is it too much to ask? Next up, we have George Russell, now the experienced head in the Mercedes team. The team had a much improved year in 2024, but nowhere near the heights they are used to in their glory years. George picked up a single race win last year, which could have been 2 without the disqualification in Belgium which gifted Lewis Hamilton the win. Pre-season testing was positive, with Russell finishing 2nd quickest on day 1 and quickest overall on day 3. Mercedes have characteristically been kinder on their tyres than other teams, so this could well be a factor again. I feel Mercedes and Russell will improve again this year and will win races, but I don't think it will be enough for a title push. Charles Leclerc has now been a Ferrari driver since 2019, a driver that has raw speed, and with an impressive 26 pole positions, could this be the year? Ferrari have definitely made steps forward over the last year and seem to have carried that on over the winter break. The team have struggled with tyre wear and strategy for some time now, and for Leclerc to have the best chance this year, that is something that will need to be improved on. Leclerc definitely has the speed and racecraft, but there have been times where consistency and composure has gotten the better of him, preventing him from converting a few more of those pole positions into race wins. This is a big year for Leclerc and one of his best opportunities to date. And finally, last year's championship runner-up Lando Norris, who is coming into the year off the back of his best year so far in Formula One, picking up 4 race wins and helping McLaren win the Constructors' title for good measure. Norris was quickest on day 1 of the pre-season tests, and many sources predict that McLaren will be the fastest car, at least initially. McLaren also seem to be a team that learns from their strategy mistakes and enforces the renowned papaya rules when necessary for the good of the team. Norris, who has 9 pole positions to his name, but hasn't always made this pay, often losing places on the first lap and giving himself an uphill battle for the rest of the race. Lando has pace and was the closest challenger to Verstappen last year. With a good car underneath him, could this be the year? I'm excited at the thought of the racing we have ahead of us, which points at being super competitive and potentially coming down to the final race. I think we will see many different race winners, with some cars being suited to certain circuits better than others. But there are 2 drivers I think we will see battling back and forth for the title this year, and they are Charles Leclerc and Lando Norris, both having displayed fantastic wheel-to-wheel racing and raw speed combined with the cars they have underneath them, puts them battling at the front of the grid for the 2025 Drivers' World Championship title. Ultimately, I think consistency will be the key, and this is where Norris's composure over Leclerc's will be the difference. And I predict this year, Lando Norris will lift his first Drivers' World Championship. Thank you for watching, and if you like the video, please like and subscribe.